Yes, I will show you the cover of the book. Alright, so today we are covering a couple of things. The first one is we are going over the vocabulary homework that you guys had. Okay, then we are going to watch well no, before that we are going to, we're going to analyze a really in-depth photo that I found that's related to the book In Makepeace Journey that we're going to be reading. Okay, and you guys are going to quietly analyze, then we will share out, and then we will discuss as a group. After that, we will transition into watching a 15-minute film that was produced by Vice. Who's heard of Vice?
President?
Not Vice President. What is Vice, Magali?
Oh no!
You don't know? Where have you seen it at least?
She was lying. She's seen right.
You don't know where you've seen it?
No.
Who has Snapchat?
Oh.
Who knows, like, now you can get all those news networks?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Vice has one of them.
Oh, it's purple.
I think so. Milani.
They show like stories.
What do you mean? What kind of stories? You're right. You're on the right track.
Vice on YouTube.
You watched it on YouTube? Okay, so who's seen a Vice video on YouTube?
No, I've seen it on Snapchat.
Alright, so why I really like Vice is because they're a team of journalists that are super brave and they go into some like complicated situations. For example, they've talked to gang members, they've talked to terrorist leaders, they go into like those behind the scenes that a lot of big network journalists can't go into. So like CBS, Fox News, CNN, they don't cover as behind the scenes as Vice does. So we're going to go behind the scenes into Honduras, and this was actually produced only 7 months ago. So it's going to give you kind of like a bird's eye view of what Honduras actually looks like on the ground. Okay, so we will cover the vocab, then we will cover, or we'll analyze and use our inferencing skills with the photo, and then we will watch the documentary, all to build our prior knowledge on this book. Okay, so Dr. C walked in first period with 8-1. And only one person knew the title of this book.
Oh,
I know the title.
What is the name?
Enrique's Journey.
Enrique's Journey. And is it a true account?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Someone connected it to a popular documentary or movie called something Luna.
Oh, wait, no,
I watched Luna.
Oh,
yes,
yes.
that was a
I've
good
seen that. What's the title of it?
Bajo la misma luna.
No,
No, it's not.
No. It's okay. I'm glad you guys are all making the same text to film connection, okay? So it's a similar film. I will watch that film to see how directly correlated it is to the text. If so, that will be the film we watch at the end of the unit. If not, I think there's another documentary that's even as good. Okay, so you guys were supposed to do parts of speech and definitions. Did everyone do that? Because in the other classes, we had some kids who forgot the parts of speech, or some kids only did the parts of speech and didn't do the definitions. So we were on the same page that you had to do both.
Yeah.
Okay, we're missing Edessa. She's still on the right. Where's yours? You didn't find yours. Go grab the next one from the Monday folder. Okay, the first word is corroborate. If you have different definitions, if it's way off, I need you to write the exact definition, okay? If it's only slightly off, then you can just add a couple of key words to make sure you're getting the correct meaning, okay? So corroborate is a verb. Everyone have that?
Yes.
Okay. And it means to support or help prove by providing information or evidence. So if you have it means to support, or if you have it help, it is to prove, you need to add some key words like by providing information. Okay? Because I can support Chantal in a very serious breakup. Okay? But I'm not going to provide evidence for that, necessarily. So we have to be clear in the context that we're using the word. Any questions on corroborate?
By providing evidence.
Providing evidence. To confirm or to support by providing evidence.
My definition is made for assertion or confirm.
Okay, make sure you add by providing information or evidence then. Should I just write it in quickly? To support or help prove by providing information or evidence. Okay, next word, vortex. Okay, why I like this learner's dictionary on Merriam-Webster is because it gives you the audio. Listen.
Vortex.
It's kind of robotic, but it at least gives you the correct pronunciation. Okay, vortex is a noun. And it is literally a massive spinning air or liquid that pulls everything to its center. So what Natural disaster could be described as a vortex megalith.
Tornado.
A tornado, right? Because it's like, woof.
Man.
But it's used figuratively too. So like, what does figuratively mean? How is it different than literally?
Literally, it's like back.
Okay, it's how it actually is, and then what's figuratively?
How different people.
Okay. You're on the right track, Susu?
Isn't it like, it's not like real? It's just used like some imaginary way or something.
Not quite. Chantal, what were you gonna say for figuratively?
I was gonna say like figuratively is kind of like you know how people use metaphors kind of in a way, like metaphors.
Yes. Okay, it's used metaphorically.
Yeah, that's
Okay. So you could be stuck in a vortex of love. Okay. Your significant other is just like drawing you in, and you're like spinning around. I just love you. Okay. That would be a metaphorical one. Okay, what's the next word on the list?
Dieter.
Okay, Dieter is the incorrect pronunciation, but yes, that's the next word. This is how it's pronounced.
Deter.
Deter.
It's deter, okay?
Deter.
It is a verb. This is a verb, okay?
Berate.
But it's more than just to yell or to criticize. It's to do so with a very negative intention, okay? Yeah, angrily. You do it like very, like you're mad at that person. Scold. What's that? Scold.
Scold.
S-C-O-L-D, yes. Okay, so, Horacio, who would scold you? Like, who in your life? Or who would berate you?
Stop.
Sergio berates you?
I
don't think so. Esmeralda, who in your life? Who in your life would berate you?
My mom.
Yes, your parents. So go on. Extortion. Okay, this is different than blackmailing. Students in 8-1 and 8-2 kept thinking it's blackmail. Extortion is to willingly and forcibly accept a bribe. Okay? So it's the crime of getting money from someone by the use of force or threat. For example, let's say I put Oscar at the threshold of my door. And every time you enter or exit the door, Oscar knows that he has to ask from you a quarter. Okay, and that quarter goes directly into my pocket. So he is kind of like this intermediary, this person. So he's loyal to me only because I'm forcing him to be loyal to me, and he's extorting you for money.
He's like the
Okay,
bouncer.
he's kind of like the bouncer of my class. This is a great. Why did it take me till my third year of teaching to think of this idea? I'm gonna have a bouncer for my classroom.
Nobody wants to come in here, man.
But if he misses, if he lets Elmer and Sergio slide because those are his boys,
I'll do it.
he's fired. And
Oh,
Christian-
I was a bouncer, miss.
Nah.
Miss, I was a bouncer for Romero.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Pero déjame todo
Miss-
entrar.
That's what I'd be a good bouncer.
As long as I get
No.
paid.
No.
Bouncer.
Viola would be like, oh, I'm sorry, you don't have anything. You don't have anything.
No, but she would ask me.
And then she would laugh.
She would take the money herself.
No, she would get tickets to what's his name?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Save the money.
All right, so be careful. Up here it has the verb of the word, but perpetrator is the person who does something illegal or wrong. Now, if you have it someone who commits a crime, let me tell you why that's a little bit inaccurate. Okay? Let's see. Renee.
Oh my god.
He can be the perpetrator of doing something wrong in my class. For example, he may be the one who starts everyone just flipping the tables. Okay? He's the perpetrator of that act. Is that a crime?
No.
He's not going to go to jail for it.
You should.
Okay? The PCMS jail, where Susu is the cop.
Oh.
Oh, snap. Everybody gonna go in there.
So do you understand how the connotation of the word perpetrator, yes, it's sometimes applicable to someone who's committed a crime, but not all the time.
So it's an adjective?
Perpetrator is not an adjective,
It's a noun.
it is a noun.
Oh,
The suffix OR tells us that it has to be a person. I'm going to give you guys as soon as you get your notebooks. Okay, and if you don't have your notebook, you just need a loose leaf sheet of paper. Jocelyn's coming around with your notebook, okay? Now, this is a pretty powerful image. I don't want you guys discussing it. Okay, I want you guys to just write down everything you see and make predictions on what is in this image and what you think it is, where they're going, who they are. Okay, you can put adjectives around the colors, how the people look, whatever you want. Okay, but I don't want you discussing it. After the 5 minutes is up, then we will discuss it. I'm going to turn the AC on because I know it's getting hot in here. And for 5 minutes, you are just writing. After the 5 minutes is up, then we will discuss in table groups. Then we will discuss in whole group. Again, if you do not have your notebook, you are responsible for having some sort of paper out. Put today's date. It's April 7th, 2015.
What do we title it?
Don't worry about titling it yet. Okay, so 5 minutes is starting.
I don't know.
Silently working. Now.
Instead of called
Wait for it and we'll go over
You're
there.
gonna say it, I don't know.
That's fine. Huh?
How do you pronounce it?
Cognate.
Cognate?
What do we do?
Susu, go ahead.
Show me. What do we do?
Whatever you see, write it down. It may be different than what someone else sees, but that's what I want. Write down whatever you see, then we'll discuss. What? Are you clear on what you need to do?
So we just have to prove what we see.
4 minutes left. Your perspective is going to alter what you see compared to what someone else sees.
This, do they have, can we bullet point things?
What's that?
Can we bullet point them?
Yes, you may list. All right, time's up. Oh, the AC unit knew exactly when I wanted to stop. Okay, before I let you guys talk about what you just saw in the pictures with your table group, Susu and Renee, what did you guys find as the word, the academic word that means when a word in Spanish sounds the same as a word in English?
I don't know how to say it.
Me neither. There's like cognate.
Cognate. Who's heard that?
Oh, I heard.
Cognate, okay? That is a word that sounds the same in English and in Spanish. However, there are what are called false cognates, okay? I think I told you this when I was learning Spanish in high school. How I said to my teacher, estoy embarazada, because I thought that meant I'm embarrassed, okay? So then I had my Spanish teacher looking at me like, she's like, do you understand what you just said to her? I'm like, I'm embarrassed. And she's like, no, you just told me that you're pregnant. I was like, oh, okay. All right. But rancor, which is what Ruby said. Rancor. How do you say? Rancor. Okay, that means the same in both English and Spanish. So that's a true cognate. It's not a false cognate. Okay, now, for a minute, I want you guys to talk in your table groups about what you just saw in the image. Okay, it's okay if you didn't see the same thing. But I want you guys to generate a comprehensive list. So Jocelyn, Renee, and Susu are going to talk. Y'all talk. A minute. Go.
I see a guy getting he probably feels good because he's like someone who wants to be.
Okay, but that's okay. I see different things. So instead of saying he feels good, what is a better word? What it means like I feel like
Proud.
relieved. Okay, so add that. Tired and yeah, I think it looks alive. I agree though. He does look tired and relieved. It's almost a mixed emotion.
I think that he's like about to give up.
Okay, write that down.
And then he got ran over by the train.
What about his body language is telling you that though?
Train?
No,
He probably got hit in the train.
I like what Jocelyn said though. There doesn't seem to be evidence that that there's any violence. There's no
There's like
But like, kind of like, look, then it's still like dark colors. And the train is dark.
Alright, stop. We're gonna go whole group now. What I need from you guys though is that we're raising our hands as we're discussing things that we're seeing. Okay? So you guys can continue adding to your list in your notebooks. Name one thing you see. Okay, don't jump to the conclusion. We're just in that stage of what do you see? Everyone should have their hand up because you all see something. Araceli, what do you see, hon?
I see a train.
You do see a train. Who agrees that this is a train?
I thought it was a bridge.
You thought it was a boat? You thought it was a bridge? Okay, I can see that.
That's not even water. That's grass.
I know, but I see. Maybe they're in a river and it's like snakes.
Oh, no, but there's water where like the grass is growing so tall out of the water.
Like
He's not wrong. Christian Robles, what else do you see, hon?
raggedy clothes.
Okay, you see raggedy clothes. What's a vocab word that we had that meant raggedy?
Oh.
Use what? Stingy. Okay, close. What else?
He's like really skinny.
Oh, what's a vocab word that we had earlier this year? Gaunts. Okay, did you look on? Not Harvard.
Hagrid.
Not Hagrid.
Haggard.
Haggard.
Yeah.
Harvard meets Ingrid is Haggard. Yes.
Hagrid.
They do look haggard. What else do you guys see? Raise your hand.
Black.
He's dark skin.
Okay, dark skin, yes, but raise your hand. Ruby.
The color of the train is his own color.
Okay, the color of the train is darker. Okay.
It looks like it's going rapid because like the way.
He's grabbing on.
Good. Okay, who caught that? The image is a little bit more blurred down here.
Yeah.
So it looks like the train is moving quickly. Good. Bridget.
I see
Daylight.
a ladder.
Oh, good. Yep. Did everyone see that? That's
No.
the ladder right here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
What
ladder.
else did you see? I'm waiting for something big. I'm trying to know instead.
Oh, man, right.
You guys can raise your hand. But you don't need to scream while you do it. Monica. It does kind of look like he doesn't have any, but I think he does. That's just the quality of the photo.
Is that a crocodile?
Sergio, if you sit up, I will listen to you.
Dos vidas.
It's going
Or
to be
it means two lives.
Dos vidas. Okay. So what do you think this train is actually meant for?
Some gangster.
Oh, like
Chantal?
grass.
Oh, okay. What do you guys think this train is actually for?
transport.
Caesar?
Probably to take them to another place so they can start a new life.
So you think it's actually meant for people to
Miss, what does it say there?
No, man.
You can go closer.
Would they be paying?
Probably to transport.
Okay, so this is a good discussion to have. Who thinks this is actually for people?
No.
No.
Okay, who thinks this train is actually has another purpose and the people are just jumping on? Okay, we're gonna go back to that. Tell me what else you see in this picture though, in this image. Horacio.
His face, a man.
What about his man? What about the man?
And it's like he could be relieved or
Yeah,
Yo.
because he's saying
like
that.
stuff.
Okay, he looks relieved and or tired.
Yeah.
Any other emotion he looks like?
Oh no.
Stephanie, I haven't heard from you in a while.
Thirsty.
He looks terrified.
You think he looks terrified?
Yeah.
His eyes are closed, right? What else do you see in this image? I don't know what's said. Yes,
That's what I was gonna say.
say.
Let's not put
I don't see how that's a
Mexican
big
guys.
thing.
Okay, why do you automatically assume they're Mexican? And I'm not saying you're wrong at all. Caesar, why not? Okay. So why are we automatically inferring that they're Mexican? Okay, because or Hispanic, because we are making an inference here. Remember in the beginning of the year we use images to practice our skills of inferencing. So there's text evidence here, okay, but then there's also prior knowledge that we have. Why do you guys automatically jump to Hispanic or Mexican? Bridget, what?
Because first of all, there's words
And
on
it's
the
in
top,
Spanish.
and second of all, we're talking about a topic that talks about Hispanic.
True, we are talking about a topic that covers Hispanic migration, but then also these words are written in what?
Yeah.
Spanish.
In Spanish. So we can assume that it's either coming from a Spanish-speaking country or going to a Spanish-speaking country. Now, let's go over the two different types of trains there are. This is in real life, okay? There are cargo trains. Okay, these are the ones we see like crisscrossing Houston all the time. Where do the trains eventually end up? Raise your hand. Up. Raise your hand. Where do these trains end up? The ones that you get stopped by all the time in Houston. You've probably been behind one. It's frustrating. Where are they going? Monica.
Iowa?
They're going down to the harbor to the
Port.
Port of Houston. Okay? These are not carrying people. They're carrying some types of goods. Okay? From a port, either onto a ship or from a ship to the train to its final destination. Okay? Then there are passenger trains.
Bullet train.
Who's been on one of these? Who's been on a passenger train before?
I vote Harry Potter, miss.
I've
Okay,
been on
now,
a subway.
On the East Coast where I'm from, the Amtrak train is very popular. It connects people from Boston to New York to Philadelphia to Washington, D.C. to Baltimore.
The boot.
Okay? This is a very common train. Now look how modern it's become.
That's a picture.
Alright? That's a really high-end passenger train. If we compare that to the image that we were just analyzing, does it look like this man is on a cargo or a passenger train? Cargo train. Okay? So what I wanted you guys to get from this image and what you guys were all finding text evidence to support is that these two men have jumped onto the train. Right? The train is not intended for passengers. We can infer they're going from maybe their home country elsewhere. Where do you think they're hoping their final destination is?
America.
Texas.
Mexico, perhaps the United States, depends on where they're coming from. Okay? Alright, so I want you to keep your notebooks open. We are going to watch this 15-minute documentary.